Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today, I'm torn, ladies and gentlemen, alright? Because on the one hand, we've got some really cool new cards, yay! And on the other hand, we've got Candice. And Candice is like my hope for Mamoswine, right? I don't have much hope for Mamoswine in the Pokemon TCG. Mamoswine's not a priority, never has been. But the closest we've ever got to a good Mamoswine was Mamoswine GL from Rising Rivals. It's a gym leader Mamoswine. Who was a gym leader featured on the card for Mamoswine GL? Yes, Candice. So I see Candice and I'm like, maybe we can get ourselves a Mamoswine. Nope. We got a bunch of Candice related cards. No Mamoswine. Boo! But we still got some interesting new cards. Let's have a gander. So we do have ourselves Candice from the most annoying gym in the history of Pokemon TCG gyms. Fight me in the comments if you want to argue about this. That is the worst gym in any game. And I should know, I've just replayed like pretty much all the games. So this is the worst gym in terms of actually just trying to get to the gym leader. It's really annoying. I don't know how kids are supposed to do this. However, it is an interesting card. Look at the top 7 cards of your deck. You may reveal any number of water Pokemon and water energy that you find and put them into your hand. Shuffle the other cards back into your deck. And this is alright, honestly. This is fine. It's not great. I don't think anyone's going to argue this is a stunning card by any stretch of the imagination, but it's fine. It's alright. It's good for getting water energy, good for getting water Pokemon. I mean, this actually works especially well in a Froslass deck. Wait, no, Frostmoth deck. There we go. Works really well in a Frostmoth deck because you can get your Frostmoth, hopefully, but also get a bunch of water energy. And then, of course, Frostmoth will then just let you attach all the energy as you like. And that's not actually so bad, ladies and gentlemen. That's not so bad at all. So, yeah. I kind of like this. It's more of an occasional use than an everyday kind of thing, I think it's fair to say. And it's very much a case of you need some kind of draw engine to go along with this. This can't just be your draw. You need something else as well. But if you've got some Pokemon draw, Bibarel or anything along those lines, and then, freeing yourself up to play Candice, this ain't too bad, ladies and gentlemen. This ain't too bad. Certainly in water decks that are heavy on energy, I could see a reason. But I wouldn't play this in something like Palkia. Because in Palkia, I'm talking about a 2-energy Pokemon. So, I'm not that energy hungry, if I'm honest with you. And I'm going to be choosing Irida over Candice all day long in Palkia decks. And again, as I always say, please do argue with me in the comment section if you disagree with this. But I just think this is a little bit better. But then again, in a world where Nessa has seen play in some water decks for recovering water Pokemon and energy, surely this could see play in some water decks for finding water Pokemon and water energy. But this isn't the end of the story, ladies and gentlemen. We got ourselves a couple of Pokemon. Just, not Mamoswine. So, we got ourselves a pair of Pokemon. It's a pair of Pokemon we probably should be expecting at this stage. We've got ourselves a Froslass. Maybe that's why I did that little slip earlier on. Now, Froslass, I actually really like. We've only got 90 HP, which on the one hand, yay, level ball, woo, etc. On the other hand, just Sablei's a thing. And low HP Pokemon, until Sableye goes away, or we get a really good counter to it, or people stop playing it, or something happens, I don't know how we can be playing low HP Pokemon. It's just, they're not good. They're going to get KO'd so easily. You can KO one of these and still have 3 damage counters to spare with Sableye. That makes me very, very nervous. Not to mention that the Snorunt here, firstly, adorable artwork, no issue there. But secondly, yeah. How am I going to deal with a 60 HP Pokemon in a world of Sableye? And I have just had a little bit of a search on PokemonCard.com, card.com, just to make sure that I'm not being dumb. I'm not being dumb. There are, unfortunately, no Snorunt at the moment that have 70 HP. There is an adorable Hyganosuke Snorunt, but there isn't one with more than 60 HP. So boo, etc. But in terms of the attacks, 2 energy, 60 damage, nobody cares. But single energy, 20 damage. If you played Candice from your hand during this turn, this attack does 90 more damage and your opponent's active Pokemon is now paralyzed. 110 plus paralysis for a single energy is really good. Or is it? Because on the one hand, right, I've got to play Candice, and as we've said, right, Candice is good for getting Pokemon, good for getting energy, etc., but it's not advancing your board state any more than that. It's not getting you your item cards, it's not getting you non-water Pokemon, it's not getting you supporters for next turn, etc. It's just getting you those cards, and that's it. And also, 110 isn't that good. Like, don't get me wrong, as I've always said many, many times, if you can't get a 1-hit KO, get a 2-hit KO with Disruption, and that's what you're doing here. You are getting a 2-hit KO with Disruption. But what you're really doing is getting a 2-hit KO and just hoping that your opponent doesn't KO you in the meantime. Or switch, or anything along those lines. Because if they do, you're kind of out of luck, if I'm honest with you. So, yeah. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry about that. I still think it's an interesting card, and I really do think it's an interesting card, but having to play Candice is not ideal. And also, you run into that same issue of if your opponent switches, you've done 110 for 1 energy, which is fine, but again, you have to muck about with Candice in order to get there, and I'm not sure that's a brilliant idea really at all. Sorry about that. I will say, if you're hitting weakness on Pokemon V, you will get a 1-hit KO here, and that's quite nice. Now, the other one we've got here, and you honestly should be able to guess this at this point, if we've had a little bit of a look at Froslass, we should probably have a Glalie, and we do have a Glalie. Now, what we got here is 130 HP, which is far more respectable. 3 energy, 60 damage. Boo! But the second attack is actually really, really interesting. The second attack is 4 colorless energy. Yes, it's a lot, but it's all colorless. 130 damage. If you played Candice from your hand during this turn, this attack does 130 more damage. Now, this is where it gets a little bit weird, because damage-wise, this is great. This is really great, because you're doing 260, and 260 is great. Quite frankly, absolutely great. Because you're getting Pokemon V, you're getting weaker V-Star, but you add a Choice Bout on, and then you're getting any V-Star. And then if you add a Hawlucha, you're going up to 320. And I know 320 won't get all the V-Maxes. I fully understand that. But it will actually get a bunch of them. A lot of them are 320 or less. And 260 plus your belt plus your Hawlucha is 320. That'll work. That will work very, very, very nicely indeed. So that's kind of cool. And here's the thing that's kind of troubling me. Because on the one hand, I want to go, right, it's all colorless energy, you can fit it into any deck, woo, etc. On the other hand, it only actually does enough damage. It only does the full damage if you played Candice from your hand. And in what world are you playing a Candice from your hand if you're not playing a water deck? I mean, maybe you play Candice to try and find your Glalie to evolve up. That seems a little bit awkward. Or maybe you play this in a Zoroark deck. But then again, how are you getting all the energy on in a Zoroark deck? You could play it with Frostmoth as well, but you're not going to be playing Frostmoth and Zoroark together. That doesn't really work properly. So this strikes me as one of those cards that's like really super interesting, but I don't get how it works. I don't understand how I get this rolling. Because the energy's awkward unless I'm playing a water deck. So maybe that's just it. But then why is it just colorless energy? It's like it's teasing me. But I will say, I do, in a water deck, if you're playing something like Frostmoth, this can legit one-hit KO V-Stars and weaker V-Maxes. There is absolutely a reason to play this, and I like it. But, again, it does really need to be borne in mind here that it's not perfect. It's really not perfect, and you do need to bear that in mind. Cool? Cool. I'm going to go ahead and give this whole thing 3 Wassies. There's definite potential here, but I just feel like the attack cost of Glalie is too much, and Froslass might be a little bit weak, and it's just... I think all of it is thwarted one way or another, but hey, maybe I'm wrong, maybe you want to argue with me. Either way, I'd love to hear from you in the comment section, so go nuts! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWassie. That's where we talk Pokemon and card games and Pokemon card games, all kinds of fun things. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCGradio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts or answer all of your questions, join a Discord to chat with us, and of course get shout-outs like the lovely Stephanie Schapp, who is one of our supporters, has been for a couple of months now. Very lovely person. So thank you for all the support and for being a very lovely person. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.